telling you, that's exactly it. It's like just pulling potential out of children in another way.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's real raw talent right there. And she is not only coaching and counseling, but she's also developing raw talent from children. So Stephen and Matthew, you're all very welcome. We give you greetings from the Fidelis Leadership Institute. Today you are at Smart 24 TV. It's all over Africa because it's hosted by DSTV. And we are on Twitter Spaces at Fidelis Leaders. We are also on Twitter Spaces at Smart24 TV now, and the International Coaching Federation Uganda chapter also has a Twitter. They're also currently listening in. So Stephen, we're here to talk about coaching. We're here to talk about its importance. But first of all, I've read all the cool things about you. Who is Stephen? If you were to just give us a little picture of who you are without going into the formalities that I just read.
Yeah, and by the way, that's a very
and what does coaching mean to you?
That is a very powerful question, and I like the way you started off, Fiona. Let me begin. Let me also just steal some minutes to thank you for what you're doing at Fidelis Leadership Institute. It's amazing.
Thank you.
And I'm glad to say that at least I'm tapping into the positive energy of being part.
Oh, thank you. That's fantastic. We shall thank you, Mr. Director.
Available and teachable. So it's something. And you'll be amazed. That's what coaching is all about at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So who is Stephen? Stephen is a child of God.
Oh, amazing.
If I might put it that way, because I always draw my energy from knowing that everything for me rotates around God.
Yes.
Yeah. That's where I start from. That's where I draw everything that needs to be drawn from.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm a child of God. I'm a husband, proud husband. Yeah. Very, very proud of my wife at the same time. And very keen on getting the best out of others. Getting people to discover their next best selves.
Their next best selves.
Yes.
To pivot. That's what we call it in
that
generation.
And you told me what is coaching to me, because coaching is, you partner with that person.
Yeah.
And you want to see the unique human in them.
Come out.
You want to get it out.
Yeah.
And you're not necessarily the one who's getting it out. You're just asking questions, and then they are getting to know who they are, how unique they are.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's what coaching is all about. And for me, it's I found my purpose in coaching.
How did
I found my
love
calling
story
in coaching.
begin?
I have to say that in drawing, remember I said I'm a child of God.
Yeah.
And God always wants people to be wonderful.
Yes.
Yeah. And if coaching is going to get someone to believe in themselves and to unleash that hidden, rather than you sitting in yourself, allowing imposter syndrome to come over you.
Yes.
What is that uniqueness in you? Because each one of us is unique.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All of us, each one of us is unique, and each one of us is wonderfully, fearfully and wonderfully made. Yeah. And that's the essence of our existence. I am because you are.
Yeah.
No one is an island.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And coaching has further enhanced that for me and fed into what I believe.
It's very odd that you emphasize uniqueness in a world where we want our children to wear uniforms and do the same things. In fact, if you stick out for being different, that's a sort of a place where you can be bullied or rejected. And yet, what you say actually explains science. I've always been fascinated by the fact that all our fingers have different fingerprints that are unique. Even your two irises are not the same, Rose. So I love that. I love that coaching seems to be also for you majorly about bringing out the uniqueness. And I think we're called to be unique. I mean, every grain of sand is unique. So in the great design, Rose, how did your story with coaching begin? And who is Rose in this space?
I'd love to borrow Stephen's words, but I'll try to use my own.
Yeah.
Rose Mercy is a woman, first of all, a mother and a wife.
Yes.
Right? I am married with one child who I absolutely love. I'm a homeschooler.
Yeah.
Oh,
you homeschool.
I homeschool my daughter,
Wow.
yes, because I'm so intent on pulling out that uniqueness from her. So that's why I homeschool. My journey of coaching, I think, started. I've grown up in an environment of leadership.
Yes.
I work with a church, Watoto Church,
Oh, nice.
and it's a place where everyone is vested in raising leaders.
Yes.
And for a long time, we've gone through. I know that earlier you asked us about the difference between coaching and mentorship and discipleship. And I was very excited because I'm like, I live in all three areas actually. I live in an environment where discipleship happens, right? And discipleship is about following, right? And then in that journey, I've been discipled. I've followed very many people.
Yeah.
Along the way, I've gotten very good mentors. And I think I am who I am today because of those mentors. They've taught me different things. They're experts in leadership, right? They're experts in music. They've taught me this is how you do it, Mercy. This is where you go. And that's what mentorship is all about. Someone is an expert in something and they tell you exactly how to do it. Now, along the way, I've done the same for other people. I've raised leaders and I've mentored them, I've discipled them. But along the way, I think 5 years ago, I was like, this is not enough. Because I saw a gap. And like, I'm telling them what to do. I'm telling them to be like me, but there's something missing.
There's something more.
There's more. There's a uniqueness in this individual. And I think that's where I got into the space of coaching because coaching helps you find the potential in someone, helps you give them the space to find that potential for themselves, to look at themselves and say, this is what I want, not what you're telling me to do. This is what I want in this moment. And this is how I move forward, right? And that's what coaching is all about.
Wow, so it's actually sort of like a follow-up to, first of all, discipleship is where you are following. Then mentorship is where you pick who you want to be like and, start that journey. And then coaching seems to be a progression into now, who are you? So the fantastic thing is that there's actually a Japanese way of teaching called shohari. And sho means, sho means identify your teacher. And it comes from a famous saying that says, when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. And how you learn in show is by following. Then ha is I think where mentorship is, where now you start practicing, doing it like the leader. And it says that if you do it like the leader enough, when the student is ready, the teacher will disappear. Then the most fascinating thing is re. Now re is practice. And it says innovate. With what you have learned from your leader, put in what you bring to the table, what's unique about you. So I love that you've just described that process. Yet, there's a whole Japanese process of, I think, apprenticeship that they use, and it's called shohari. That's really, really exciting. Back to the difference between counseling, mentorship, and discipleship. She's a counselor. Stephen, how would you differentiate all those three things from coaching?
That is discipleship,
Counseling, and mentorship. Yes.
Okay.
Because discipleship, when we look at Jesus and, discipleship is a bit deeper. You sort of live and make yourself more vulnerable to this person.
Yeah, and again, you've just given me a cue. By the way, you've used the word being vulnerable. Now, I will begin with coaching, just again to demystify what coaching is. Then I will come to the distinctions that you've asked me to make. Yeah. So coaching is a conversation between a coach and a coachee. Or at times we call them a client, whereby it's thought-provoking and you're looking forward to unleashing the potential in them,
Yes.
them getting to know that there is something hidden in them.
Yes.
But then, how do you go about it? You go about it by asking questions. So the coach is just there to ask questions.
Questions.
Yeah,
Leading questions?
leading questions. And at times, the coach
No
also,
open ones allowed?
well, you would also want to avoid closed questions.
Yes.
Closed questions are yes or no.
Yes.
You would want to have that thought-provoking. We at times even call it clean language.
Yes.
You can even go as far as using metaphors.
Excellent.
Yeah. And you just put a
Or
question there.
paragraphs.
You could just put a question that scratches the person before you, and then they go on talking.
Yes.
Then when we come to mentoring,
But what are you doing with those questions?
what are we doing with those questions? Now, again, you're leading me to something else. By the time you get into a coaching conversation with your client
Yeah.
or with your coachee, they've come to you with a problem.
Oh.
In coaching language, you call it a problem
Yes.
or a challenge.
Yes.
So they come and they say, I am stuck. Then you could ask, what are you stuck about? Yeah, I'm stuck at the workplace. Yeah, I'm not on the same page with my superior or with my line manager.
Yes.
Then you find out, okay, what is exactly that being stuck? Why doesn't your line manager, why aren't you on the same page? And you can say, well, in the meeting. So you will notice that with time, as you keep on asking questions, things will keep coming out. Now, you will notice that maybe the challenge right now is that there's a situation of lack of communication.
Yes.
They're not getting each other. What could be causing that lack of communication? You, the coach, you're there to ask leading questions with the intention of getting the person before you, who is your client, to appreciate that actually the problem that is before that person or the problem at hand can be solved by themselves. Because
wow.
you're still getting them to appreciate that you are the person who can actually solve the
Solve
problem.
it.
Yeah. Me, I'm just here to guide you
So you're
and to ask
equipping.
questions.
You're equipping.
You're practically equipping.
Yes.
Yeah, you're practically equipping. And then that leads me to another thing is I don't necessarily have to be in your profession to
Yes.
coach you.
Oh, excellent.
I don't have to be a banker to coach a banker.
Coach a banker.
I don't have to be a lawyer to coach a lawyer. Yeah.
That's fantastic because
Now,
I think
that
I'm going
leads
to
me to-
recruit you as my...
That leads me to the mentoring bit because
Yeah.
you've asked me to differentiate mentoring, discipleship,
Yeah,
as well as counseling.
absolutely.
Since we are here, we're a team. I will also call on Rose Mercy to help me out.
Okay.
Yeah, because
On
I'm sure she will explain counseling better and discipleship better. Yeah. Because also that's the other thing in
Yeah.
coaching, and that's why I said I am very keen on borrowing the word use of being vulnerable.
Yeah.
We do not know it all. Coaching,
And we need to keep remembering that.
please, coaching is there
Yeah.
to tell you that you do not know it all.
Yes.
A self-aware leader does not think that they know everything.
Self-aware leader.
Yes, a self-aware leader. You're there to learn from the people. And that's why, even for a chief executive, a CEO has an expert team they work with. You have someone in charge of finance, you have someone in charge of legal. That means you've surrounded yourself with a team of people who are good in those particular areas.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So you do not know everything.
No.
And coaching calls on that person being vulnerable because by the time you go to your coach, you're practically opening your heart
Yeah.
and saying, this is the problem I have. I have a wound here and I'm keen on journey with someone who can help me how to sort out the wound I have.
Yeah.
Now, when we cross over to mentoring, mentoring is the mentor talks down. Yeah. A mentor tells you.
Comes from a point of I know.
a point. Yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
They've gone ahead
I
of
love
you.
how simply you're doing this.
No, they've gone ahead of you.
Yeah.
And they know now you go to a seasoned lawyer, a seasoned advocate, a Queen's Counsel who has been here, has turned the pages, and then you're going to them and saying, I'm journeying, I've opened up my law firm, I
Yeah.
need to be guided.
Yeah.
So they will tell you the do's and don'ts.
Based
They-
on their experience. and
Yes, because they are so informed and they're talking down to you. Sorry to use the word talking down.
knowledge. It's
Yeah.
honest.
So that's the clear
There's a
distinction
hierarchy.
between mentorship and coaching.
That's excellent.
Now, again, coaching is so forward-looking.
Yeah.
Counseling,
What does that mean?
coaching is the distinction And that's why I want to call in Rose Mercy.
Yes.
Because she's a professional counselor.
Yes.
The little knowledge I know about counseling is when someone comes to you and they are giving you too much history and they keep on sinking back into that history and it's holding them down in sort of baggage.
Yes.
That is a case for counseling.
Okay.
Yeah.
In order to extricate yourself from the past.
Yes.
Yes.
I like that.
But
They're dealing with
I've
their
never heard it described like that.
No, but I would like Rose Mercy to
Okay,
do
before
that.
Rose Mercy moves on, I
Yeah.
just
No,
want to quote
discipleship
you.
also.
I just want to quote you, and I want to recognize our listeners on the Twitter Spaces. We have we have the director LDC, Mr. Faisal Mulalira, who is now his worship. He is a registrar with the court. Your worship, congratulations! He was in the latest list that came out. We have very important people online. I want to thank our faithful listeners who are around. I see a lot of people and a lot of new people as well. You're all very welcome, and all our Smart 24 TV listeners. Today, one of our speakers, the president himself of the International Coaching Federation Uganda, said self-aware leaders know that they don't know it all. I hope that our admin on FLI can quote that. Allow us to put your big share in front of that, because that was really profound. And now I also love the way you talked about coaching. It's like someone is taking you through your mind and leading you through pathways and showing you that, you have in your garden, you have this bush. It's actually a herb. It could cure this.
For sure.
And this is because this person probably knows how to navigate your mind, your life, and maybe your career a little better, because they've probably done this before.
Yeah.
That's an amazing way of looking at coaching, Stephen. This is why you're the president.
No.
So, director, education, educator, counseling, mentorship, discipleship. He's talked about mentorship very effectively, but I want you to talk about, you talked about Watoto, and the past time I think I listened to a sermon on discipleship, it was actually Pastor Gary Skinner. I was in my S4 back, and it was talking about discipleship, and he quoted the pastor then, I think, of Rema Bible School, and it started me on a journey of listening to Rema Bible School. For those of you that don't know, some of us are dinosaurs, and we did not have the internet then. So you would actually write to Rema Bible School, and they'll send you a magazine, and they'll explain what discipleship is. So please talk to us. How different is discipleship from coaching? How different is counseling from coaching? They're all very essential things, but we need that differentiation before we can really go into why coaching. Yes.
I think with discipleship,
Yes.
first of all, I said there's following that is happening. You're following a leader, and you're following certain ways, like from a Christian angle or a biblical angle. We have a leader, Jesus, right?
Yeah.
And we're following his ways. We're trying to be
Following
like
his ways.
Yes, his ways.
Like him.
We're trying to be like him.
Yes.
And the difference with coaching, with counseling, right? Counseling, like Stephen says, you said, we're dealing with the past.
Yes.
We are resolving. Someone comes with
You're
a problem.
resolving the
You're
past.
resolving a problem in the past. Someone has emotional baggage, and you're trying to restore them in that moment to a sense of sensibility in that moment, right?
Yeah.
You're like, everything is going to be okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And with coaching, it's in the moment.
It's in the moment.
It's now. What are you experiencing now
Yeah.
as we are having this
And
conversation?
Stephen added something. He said it's futuristic as well.
Because you're trying to move someone from the now into the future.
Yeah.
You're, whatever they're giving you right now, you're leading them towards something that is positive and possible, and which is in the future.
Oh, I love that. You're leading someone to positive and possible.
Yes.
So it would be quite useless to start coaching me into becoming a pilot, right? At my age right now.
Well, if you start the journey, maybe.
So possible is very important.
possible.
And
What
positive
is
is
possible?
very important.
Yes, what is positive and possible. We don't want to get locked up in the past.
So, like, don't coach me into terrorism. It's very important to know these things.
Yeah.
Now, that's a very good definition, Rosemary. Now, coming back to why coaching, why should people be coached and who needs coaching? I think I'll have Stephen start with that.
Allow me to just take you back to what you alluded to.
Yeah.
That if you're keen on terrorism, then we wouldn't. Because, and that is very key, and I like the way you brought it out.
Yeah.
We have a code of ethics that governs our
Excellent.
profession.
And FLI is all about ethics. Tell me.
We have a code of ethics
Yeah.
that governs
Our profession,
our
your
profession
profession. Yeah.
as coaches. We are so big on doing good and only good.
Yes.
Yes. And if at any one moment your coachee or your client comes before you and they are plotting murder or
World domination.
or they want to fleece,
Yes.
they want to break the bank,
Yes.
they want to snatch someone's spouse.
Yes. Start
Because
about
this can all be
challenges.
challenges or premises for conversation.
Yes.
A coach, you say no immediately.
Yes.
Yeah, because we are bound by
Ethics, and
Ethics,
values.
yes.
And they're clear.
yeah.
Very clear.
And we are the other because we have competencies for coaching.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
And one of the competencies is confidentiality as well.
Confidentiality.
Yeah. So whatever content you have in the
Yes.
coaching conversation
Yes.
can never be disclosed by your coach. And if the coachee is able to clearly explain and prove it that their coach released something that they only know, the International Coaching Federation will strip you of your coaching license.
Oh, wow.
And the punishment is so big because they say at least 10 years. So you can imagine if you're not practicing
I
for
like
10
that
years.
punishment.
Yeah.
Because I think we take some of these privileges we have, like being coaches, for granted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I just needed to clarify that because that's the beauty
Yeah.
with us being here. It's a conversation.
Thank you.
And certain things.
And values are very
like-
important.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
it was also very good to clarify that because we do have people who mentor and coach into distraction, right?
Yes.
So going back, who needs coaching, Stephen?
Who needs coaching? Very powerful question. Everyone needs coaching.
Explain.
Yeah. Why I say everyone needs coaching? As the fact that none of us is perfect.
Yeah.
That means there are imperfections about us.
Yes.
And as long as I have rough edges, as long as I have imperfections,
Yes.
I'm still a work in progress.
Oh, yeah.
And the fact that I'm a work in progress, I need to journey with someone else to help me become better. So in short, all of us
Need
need
coaching.
coaching.
Give me examples.
However, there
yeah.
are those people who are uncoachable.
Oh, what does that
Yeah.
mean?
And when you talk about someone being uncoachable, you can, as a coach, you can easily have a client who you feel they are not present in the conversation.
That's profound.
And at times, this comes about
Yeah.
when that person has been sponsored to do coaching.
Oh, they did not invest themselves.
Yes. That means there is someone
think
who
I've
feels
experienced
there is someone who feels
Yes.
they need coaching.
Yes. Someone else feels they
Yes.
need coaching, like their boss.
Yeah. And again, as we're preparing for this with Rosemary, we're even talking about demystifying some myths about coaching. Because unfortunately, in some organizations, coaching has come out as
A project.
can we say a PIP,
Yes.
a performance improvement plan.
I know that.
This
I've seen some
person
organizations.
is not pulling their weight. This
get them a
person,
coach.
let's get them a coach.
Yes.
And then they're told you're going to be coached. So they go to the coaching conversation knowing that this person is here to spunk me into being the person the organization wants me to be.
Yes. That
Those
kills
could
it
be,
at birth.
yeah, that could also be a scenario for someone being uncoachable.
Yeah.
However, there are also those people who are egotistical. I'm sorry to put it
Full
this way.
cups.
Whereby you know, what is this person going to tell me?
Eh,
I've even maybe gone ahead, I've looked them up on LinkedIn. I'm smarter than them.
I know more.
Yeah, I know more.
I have more money.
I've been around. What are they going to tell me? What new thing are they going to tell me? So when the exaggerated sense of self comes into play,
Yeah.
honestly, you will not find coaching to be a place, because coaching, once again, I go back to that powerful word used, is you have to be vulnerable.
Yes.
You're there, that detail of I do not know it all. And there is something new I can learn from my coach. This coach is going to ask me questions. I'm keen to be better. And I believe that there is something in me that I might actually shock myself to discover. I like the way you said, it could be a bush, but it has herbs, and those herbs are going to make me better.
Yes.
Yeah. So to answer you, all of us,
Yeah.
Fiona, need coaching.
All of us.
All of us. And by the way, when we go to discipleship, that's why we also have spiritual directors.
Spiritual directors. I love that.
You need someone to shepherd your soul.
Yeah, to shepherd
Yeah.
your soul. So I like you've said 4 profound things.
Yeah.
At first you started emphasizing the importance of self-awareness. You have to come from the point of I don't know it all.
Yeah.
Then you talked about full cups. When I said full cups, I mean you need to pour into this cup, but it's full.
Yeah.
It cannot take anything. He knows it all.
Mm.
And then you mentioned something very important. In order to be coached, you need to get out of your own way. Meaning you can be the greatest enemy to your progress, right?
For sure.
You yourself.
Yeah.
That's why I guess Michael Jackson was talking to the man in the mirror. Sometimes
Because-
that's the most problematic person we're dealing
Yeah.
with.
And because that's what the coach is in the conversation, they are your mirror.
They try to mirror
They
you.
mirror you. They reflect everything back
Back
to
to
you
you.
so that you can see yourself.
Yes.
And once you see yourself, there's this heightened awareness, and that's where the learning happens.
And Stephen, you said we need to be present. For me, that was very powerful. On this side of my second anniversary of my 25th birthday, I have realized that the older I grow, the more I appreciate the importance of being present. You know, when you're young and you're in your 20s, okay, your early 20s before 25, you think, you know, the world is your oyster. You want to do everything. And I see young people, she gets into the room, she has an iPad, it's open, there's something going on, she has earphones, she's listening to something on her phone. She's also taking phone calls, and she is supposed to be attending a conference. She's been delegated by her boss to attend this conference and be present. And then, she has time to flirt with the handsome man next door. And I'm thinking, none of the things you're doing right now is actually registering in you. We're missing so much. So I love that you said be present. And coaching conversations are serious. They're even expensive sometimes. And they're few, right? I've been told, you do 6 to 10 sessions. I mean, if I'm going to get only 6 to 10 moments like this with Stephen, I have to be present. Then you also talked about being vulnerable. Rose Massey, when it comes to who needs coaching, he said everybody. And I've always been fascinated by the fact that even I'm not a football fan. I know Stephen is a football fan. What's your team? I know Arsenal is suffering, so if you're for Arsenal, I'm sorry.
No. In Eric Ten Hag, I believe.
Yeah, but okay, cool. So
Yeah, I'm a Red Devil.
most expensive. My brother is too. The best, most expensive players in the world have coaches. I mean, even for golf, even musicians have coaches. I have seen amazing progress. There's a program called The Voice America, and you look at this person. The first time they sing, they blow everybody away, and then they're given a coach, and then you see the growth. So. Yes, coaching might be for everybody, but how do you begin this journey? How do you identify? Yes, maybe the people listening. And we're getting more and more people. I see Walter Wawiri. I see a lot of people here. I see Maria Kugonza, I see so many people here. It's really wonderful. Thank you so much, our listeners. So if any of our listeners want to begin this coaching journey, now talking back to the International Coaching Federation, how can they get in touch? How can they get to know about who's able to coach them? How do you start this journey?
How do you start the journey? In terms of starting the journey with
As a coachee. Yes.
In terms of starting with the journey with a coachee, we have over 60 credentialed coaches.
This is just Uganda?
Uganda.
Oh,
Over
wow.
60 in the ICF.
How old is it? How old is the ICF Uganda chapter?
ICF Uganda, maybe
Since
5 years?
Yeah, 5 years. Since
5 years.
2018.
Yes.
Oh, excellent.
And we've been on a journey of we do not want motivational speakers. We
Yes.
want real coaches. So that means you have to study. I've spent 4 years in school to be a good coach.
So it's a certified
It's certified,
program.
yes.
Yes.
It's a certified program. So there's CEO Summit,
Yeah.
there is Imagine Me Africa,
Yeah.
there is
I've seen John Maxwell.
Yeah, John Maxwell coaches, there's Precision HR, there's
Yeah.
Coach Africa, there's them, there's all these organizations
That coach.
they're bent on having good credentialed coaches that are available, because you have to know what kind of coach you're getting.
Yes.
The person has to know what they're doing.
Yes.
And there are different forms of coaching, the models. There's a grow model, there's a transformative approach, but you have to know that the person I'm getting, first of all, is qualified.
Yes.
So they will know the difference.
Please listen to that. Don't be an experiment.
Yeah. They have to know.
It's not fun being in a test tube.
Yes, they have to know the difference between, if I get a client and they are crying in the middle of a coaching conversation, I have to be able to recognize that this client actually needs counseling.
Yes.
And I stop
There's
the
a lot.
conversation,
Yeah.
and say, hey, can we refer you to a counselor? And it takes a qualified coach, to know that difference.
And to do it without breaking the person more.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Maybe I should take off my coaching hat and become a counselor in this moment. But
So
if you're
get
not
a
referred,
professional.
a professional.
How do we find you? How do we find ICF?
ICF. I will hand over to the president.
To begin with, we have a website.
Oh.
So
For this,
ICF, the International Coaching Federation Uganda Chapter,
is on internet.
is on the internet.
It's on Twitter right now. You
And
can find them.
on our website,
Yeah.
you have a page of all the coaches who are in good standing with the International
institution.
Coaching Federation Uganda. When I
Oh,
say in good standing,
Yeah.
I believe the coaches out there know
Understand
what to talk
what you
about.
mean.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. But yes, their photos are all there.
Yes.
Because what Rosemary has raised is very, very key.
Yeah.
There are many people out there who are purporting to be coaches, yet they are not certified
Yeah.
by the International Coaching Federation. These could be mentors, but they are coming off as coaches. Because unfortunately, someone who has done something, they are very good in their professional space. Someone easily goes to them and says, coach me. And then they come off as coaches. Yet
Yeah.
in essence, they are not qualified as coaches.
So look
Because
for a qualified
yes, you
coach.
need to come across a qualified coach who can undertake structured coaching with you.
Okay.
Yeah.
And they're bound by ethics too.
Yes,
Yeah.
they're bound by ethics. So on.
So we even have a board. In fact, I'm glad to see that on the Twitter space, some of our board members
Oh,
are
please
already there.
recognize.
Yeah, if I quickly
So we
look
can
at your
say a quick
board, I
hello.
can see our secretary, Christine Mukasa Mogera, is on. Then, of course, our director, visibility and publicity, that is Caroline Agesa, to whom we are very grateful for being here.
Oh yes,
Yeah, because
Caroline.
she's already
Hi,
delivering.
shouts to Caroline.
She's already delivering on her mandate.
From Namagunga girl.
Then I'm also glad to see our founding president,
Oh wow.
Joan Mugenzi,
Yay!
who's in a totally different geographical space.
Where is she right now?
I don't know whether I'm at liberty to tell where
Oh,
she is.
okay.
Well,
So, Joan, we're so excited to have you online. I hope you'll be able to say something. We'll open up a little later.
Because you see, if you're not given the mandate to say,
Absolutely.
yeah, but I know that she's
Confidentiality, right?
she's in a totally different geographical space,
Yeah.
and it's good to see that she's online. And other people who have benefited from coaching.
Yeah.
Those are the ones I can see for now. But yes, we have a board
Yeah.
in place, and we are very much available.
Thank you very much. We have, and at this point, I'll bring it up. We have And I said this in my intro. I talked about the crisis for Africa, the development crisis for Africa. I mean, we have minerals. We have all the minerals in the world. We're the source of all the minerals almost in the world. We're the source of almost all the food in the world. The raw materials for anything. We have, as Africa, we have the best cotton, we have the best weather. We even sell climate. I mean, everybody's moving here. Some of the biggest tour companies that are making the most money are not necessarily owned by Africans, but they're best in Africa.
Here, yeah.
So when we think about our sports exports, I mean, we all know what the teams look like, you know, and where that comes from. So why isn't Africa as successful as Singapore, because Singapore is at the same level, for instance, as Uganda in our independence, and now they're a first world country, you know, the BRICS, they're all at our level. We believe at the Fidelis Leadership Institute that ethics is a thing, and that leadership is the key, because as Africans, we believe that fish starts rotting from the head. And I love that coaching looks like it points at the head and wants to help the head figure out the journey, so that as the head pivots, as we call it, whatever the head is leading is also pivoting. And that fits in with our vision. We have, my team will kill me if I don't talk about this. We have what we call the Fat Leadership Fellowship. It's a 16-week program. It's to certify you as a fat fellow, faithful, available, teachable fellow. Why we started this program was because we got a lot of requests to have a certified program, and we have partners now that have helped us certify this program. But the most amazing thing is that we're also very careful about who trains our young people in these programs. And we've also been amazed that the people who are coming to us are not the young people that we thought we were expecting. There are people who have various anniversaries of their 25th birthday, and it's fantastic. And I'm seeing such serious inroads, moving from just, leadership trainings and everything into coaching, into serious structured coaching, and having these conversations that you said something about conversations to unleash potential, if I may quote you. And at the FLI, we say that we make fat talks conversations that matter. So building on conversations that matter, Rose, the coaching conversation, when someone begins, because Stephen started with saying they need to know their problem. The presumption is that whoever is going for coaching knows they have a problem. Are there experiences where they don't know they have a problem, but they just want to be coached, and then the coach helps them discover the problem? Or is that too much for the coach, given that times restraints maybe for the coaching experience?
He mentioned there's a problem, but then there's also a challenge.
Okay.
And then
whether
there's
problem
also
or challenge.
an opportunity.
We
might be coaching about an opportunity. Let's look at a CEO
who
comes to you and is looking at all these, wants to make a decision about different opportunities, and they're wondering which way to go. Which direction should I go? So it might necessarily not be a problem, but an opportunity. And I think that is where coaching comes out distinctly from the other professions, like mentorship or discipleship or consultancy, is that coaching helps this CEO. It has just skipped my mind.
No, that helps the CEO. You were talking about helping them to find direction.
Yes.
Make choices.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think it puts them in the space as a CEO, one, to reflect.
Yeah.
And think about, where do I want to go? The coach is not necessarily giving the solution, but providing the space for this CEO to find the solution for themselves. In coaching, we believe, and I wrote it somewhere, so I will get it. In coaching, we believe that every person is creative and resourceful.
Yes.
So they might come to you with an opportunity, and they want to tell you to tell them an answer, right?
Yeah.
But we believe that they are creative and resourceful. And as you ask these questions and peel away the layer, they are having these insightful moments where they are having aha moments and going, that's that's what I need to do. As the coach reflects back what they're saying, they're like, I said that? Did I say that? Because they're in that moment speaking from the depth of what they believe in that moment. So as the coach is peeling away these layers, they're finding the way forward, right? Towards what is possible and what is positive.
What are some of the things that would stand in the way of a good coach, Stephen? Because I believe even coaches are on a journey.
Yeah. And
So if you are already a coach, because I know that you're already speaking to some coaches here, online and on the television all over Africa, what are some of those things that might stand in the way of a good coach?
and again, it gets back to that aspect of knowing that I do not know it all.
Yes.
Because coaches can also be full of themselves. It doesn't take that fact away.
Yeah.
Yeah. So a coach needs to know that there's always something new for me to learn out there.
Also, they need
we
to
have,
keep
we have a
updated.
journey. And since I'm here with our director of education, coaches get credentialed.
Credential.
Yeah. We begin by undertaking a coach training program,
Yeah.
which equips us with the skills and competencies on how to go about coaching.
Yeah.
Now that's one thing. So once you've done, we call it the SCTP, once you've done the accredited coach training program, you're now ready to become a member of the International Coaching Federation, the global one,
Yes.
headquartered in Kentucky in the US.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the moment you undertake SCTP, then you have to start what we call the credentialing journey.
Yes.
Every coach, the first credential they attain is called the ACC. Yeah, the Associate Certified Coach. The moment you finish that step, you move to the PCC, which is the Professional Certified Coach. Then from the PCC, you move to the MCC.
Yeah.
Like all the other professions,
They're
because
stages,
even
levels.
even with accountants, you
Continuous
have
learning.
those who do SCCA,
Yeah.
you become a fellow. Yeah, so now
So you never arrive.
well, and in all these
Continuous learning.
in all
Yeah.
these respective credentialing journeys, the number of hours you should have under your belt.
Yes.
Yeah.
Professional development hours.
Professional development hours.
Yes.
Yeah.
So this coaching thing is
And
a
as
whole
you can
profession.
see, you need a coach who knows. We are told that the moment you think you've learnt it all, you die.
But Stephen, I need to
Yes.
ask a very important question here.
Yes.
Can I just leave school,
Yeah.
get certified in this,
Yeah.
and then start coaching and coach all my life? Or is it also important sometimes to have something else, some other personal success that sort of gives you a moral stage on which to start?
I will answer a bit, and I'm sure Rosemary can also come in.
Yeah.
You can do coaching all your life. There are those who
From start.
there are those who are running coaching consultancies, and that is where they get the bread they put on the table.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's such an engaging profession that even the investment you put in learning to be a coach is not cheap.
So what do you study to be a coach?
You have to
I'm
begin.
saying if I'm going to university.
And now even there
Yeah.
you can even do a degree in coaching.
Oh,
There's
there
some
are
universities.
degrees in
Yes.
coaching. Now we're doing
You,
serious career.
you even have a
For any
diploma.
juniors online.
Most of our credentials are
Yeah.
diploma level.
Yeah.
You can even have a degree. You can have a master's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you have a
You can even do a
degree
PhD
or a
in
diploma,
coaching.
do you automatically qualify to be part of the ICF?
You qualify to be part of the ICF, but still you have to undergo some
The
a credentialing job.
process.
At times,
You
if you have the
get some-
diploma or a master's, you can easily get waivers. Yes,
Yeah,
you can
so
get
you can
waivers.
get waivers.
Yes,
Okay.
you can get
So
waivers.
the other thing is,
And that's why we are very keen on people being certified.
Certified.
And anyone who's looking for a coach, please go for a coach who's certified.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because then there is a whole process that is involved in being a qualified coach. And
Okay,
you want to
so-
work with a qualified coach.
And I hope that this doesn't irritate any of you,
Yes.
but I need to ask it because if I am 25 years old, just finished a degree or diploma or whatever in coaching, and I've done my certification program, and the newest CEO of NSSF needs coaching, and I get into this coaching relationship. I just want you to look at that scenario and guide more, because there are things that we do. For instance, there are credentials we rush for when we're very young,
Yeah.
and then we don't get to utilize them because a little more is needed. Is it the case with this, or am I misunderstanding it?
I think you're right in a way, because as coaches, we bring all we are to the table.
And there has to be a bit.
Yeah,
Quite a bit.
You bring all your experiences on the table.
So there has to be experience.
Yes. So you might not be necessarily giving the solutions,
Yeah.
but as a coach, you're observing.
Yeah.
And what you're observing informs the kind of inquiry you're going to make, right? So in order for you to observe well, there's some sort of experience that you have to have
Yes.
in order to recognize certain things, to ask the right questions, right? So again, back to the question, what would stand in the way of any good coach? Your experiences along the way that you have picked up.
Right
All of life, all of you comes to the table.
Even your ethical history.
Yes, it comes to the table. But the more important thing is what Stephen is talking about,
Yeah.
is that you have to be trained.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah.
The other things all come as a bonus.
Have to know
make
what you're supposed to
yes,
do.
Yeah.
Okay. Online we also have the Vice President of the Uganda Law Society. I see Martin Bayarha. Very nice to see you. And we're going to go into a point where we let our colleagues online speak to us. So, Joan, Carol, if you want to add something, we will be looking forward to hearing from you. I want to recognize Smart24 TV. I want to recognize our listeners on the Twitter space, Fidelis Leadership Institute, and also remind you that our FAT Fellowship program will start on June 1st. There's a call, July 1st. There's a call for applications right now on our website at fidelisinstitute.org and also at Fidelis Leaders on Twitter. Now, going forward with this issue, at our FAT Talks, we have a very fun thing that we do with our guests. We always insist
Before we go into the fun part, which I'm also keen on.
It's a middle part. We're still continuing because okay, I'll tell you the fun part. The fun part is going to start now, and then our audience will participate until the end of the show. Then yes. So as we go into, we're sort of midway, and this conversation, I remember you asking how long this takes, and I told you it can get really interesting. At this point, we usually ask our guests tell us 3 things about themselves, and let the audience decide which of them is true and which is a creative lie. So please, who wants to go first?
3 things.
Yes. I hope our admin is listening and putting up the poll. For Stephen, he's going first. Our president of the ICF is telling us 3 things about himself.
Well, I'm very keen on extreme sports.
Keen on extreme sports.
Yeah. And we talk about extreme sports,
Yes.
whitewater rafting,
Wow. I call them suicide sports.
bucket list that I've not done, that
Yeah.
I hope someday God blesses me with the resources to do it, is skydiving.
Okay, you're sounding like you're telling a truth here. You need to be
I would love to do skydiving. I've had a chance of doing paragliding. Yeah. So I've done paragliding somewhere over the Indian Ocean. actually.
Okay.
Yeah. So when it comes to extreme sports, that's something I'm very keen on. Then
So, audience, you have to choose whether it is true that he likes extreme sports or he hates them. He's elaborating on this, so if it's a lie, it's a really good one.
so that's
The
one.
second one,
I like volunteering.
he likes volunteering.
That's something I'm keen on, because I believe that all of us, someone pulled my
Don't
hand.
build on that statement. We just
No,
want
no.
statements, yes.
Volunteering is very key.
Yeah.
So I leave it at that.
Yes.
Okay.
Then the third one,
The third one is I love family.
okay.
Yeah.
Stephen has told us 3 things, and one of them is a lie. And he likes extreme sport. He loves to volunteer. He doesn't like money so much. And that's what some of our young people think when they like volunteering.
Okay.
And he is.
That's why you see, I was trying to build on it and you refused me from
He
building
also
on.
loves family.
Yeah.
Why we're doing this is because it's Twitter. It has limited, So
And because of
Stephen
that,
loves
and because
family.
of family,
Yeah.
I'm even looking forward to the first 10 movie. You
The
know,
first what?
the movie Vin Diesel,
Yeah.
the Fast and Furious franchise.
Fast and Furious franchise.
Yeah, they've been criticized for being La Familia and everything.
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to that.
Okay. He's really elaborating on these truths and lies. So it's going to be a lot of work for our audience. Ladies and gentlemen, 3 things from Stephen that he states about himself. He loves family. He loves extreme sports, bucket list type of things, and he loves volunteering. Please let us know what you think. Do you know Stephen well enough? And oh wow, we have Uganda Christian lawyers as well listening to us. Hello, shouts out to you. And now we are going to listen to the 3 things about Rose Mercy. I like how she says her name. She says it with mercy.
I mean, a lot of grace.
Yeah.
Okay. I would love to work in the war zone.
She loves the idea of working in the war zone.
I've always wanted to be a nun.
She's always wanted to be a nun. I don't know where we are at the celibacy levels, but okay.
I love snakes.
What?
She loves snakes. Okay, wow, this is quite interesting. The beautiful, graceful Rose Mercy loves reptiles,
But there is
especially
also-
snakes.
Can I chime in? Today is Rose Mercy's birthday.
Oh, happy birthday. Ladies and gentlemen on Twitter Spaces, please send some flowers to Mercy online. It's her birthday, and she's looking it. She's looking it. Yeah, happy birthday, Mercy.
Thank you.
I wish you many years of relating with reptiles. She says that she loves snakes. She would love to be in the war zone, maybe a Christian Amanpour. And she would, what was the third?
I'd love to be a nun.
She would love to be a nun.
I've
She's
always
still
loved to be a
aspiring.
nun.
Always aspiring for.
I've always loved to be a nun. Let's put it that
Yeah,
way.
she's always loved the idea of being a nun. So to be a nun, to relate with snakes that she loves, and to be, why am I losing touch?
Being
War
a war
zone,
zone.
nun,
Being a war
snake.
zone, yeah. Wow, very interesting. So, ladies and gentlemen, let me know what is true, what is not true about Mercy, Rose Mercy. Does she love snakes? Does she love snakes? Does she love to be in a war zone? Would she like to be a nun? What's true? If you think you know her. For Stephen, he loves to volunteer, he loves extreme sport, and he loves family. Which is true, which is a lie. Please, you're going to check our page on Twitter Spaces. You're going to see a poll. If you think you know Stephen or Rose Mercy well enough, please click there. Even if you don't know them, just take a wild guess. I know some of you are out there gambling, so this is a chance to enjoy a gamble during the show. And let's see, we shall get the great reveal at the end of the show. So back to our question, Stephen.
Yeah.
You were about to ask something. Please
Yes.
go ahead.
There's a question you asked, and I
Yes.
picked up on it.
Yes.
You asked that in the event that there is someone
Yes.
who goes to coaching conversation and they do not know what to talk about.
Yes. They don't know where to
Yeah,
start.
they don't know where to start.
They
but
don't even know why they're there.
But no, even they have the goodwill.
Yeah.
They've read about coaching. and
They want
say-
it,
They say,
yeah.
by the way, I'm here. I know what coaching does.
Yes.
Please, I want to be coached. Yeah, and one of the things that the profession has done very easy is we make use of psychometric assessments. Yeah, because again, remember chemistry. One of the competencies for coaching is chemistry building.
Yes.
You don't take it for granted that you're going to go to a coaching conversation and you will hit it off with the person before you.
Yes.
Yeah, and again, as coaches, we are trained that the person before you is sizing you up.
That is true.
And generally, as human beings, we are so judgmental.
And they think
we
if you're worth
judge.
their time
We
and
judge.
money.
We judge a lot.
Yeah.
You just look at someone, And we are told perception is projection, and projection is perception. Usually, what I'm perceiving, I tend to project it.
Yeah.
And also what I'm projecting is what I'm perceiving. So it's both ways. However, well, if someone comes, we can always suggest a psychometric assessment. You tell that person, could you please undertake? There are very many psychometric assessments, very many.
Yes.
There is a 360 degrees feedback. There is the MBTI.
Yeah.
There is one that I'm so passionate about, Clarity 4D.
Clarity 4D.
Yeah. So there are very many. Now, if you encourage your client to undertake the psychometric assessment, it will be a basis for conversation.
It leads to the self-aware that you're
It does.
requesting, that
Yes.
you're asking about.
Yes.
You know,
Because then
an
a
exciting
report will
thing.
be generated,
Yeah.
and you can ask questions around what has been generated in that report.
Yeah.
And before you know it, you start talking to one another.
There was a beautiful, okay, not a beautiful, there was a crazy gossip magazine called Hello Magazine when I was growing up. And my parents don't know this, but a few of us used to get our pocket money in secondary school and buy it. Because that time you'd send the money abroad and they would send you, there was no thievery that time, there was no conning, so they'd send you the magazine. And my first psychometric test, I was not 17, I was about 13 years old. And I was actually turning 14 and I got my first psychometric test. It was in a Hello magazine.
Oh, wow.
And then the second one I did it, it was a Christian one from those Rema Bible things.
Yeah.
And that was my S4 back. And that's the first time I heard about being sanguine. And it explained so many things.
Yeah.
Why I'm scattered and I want to talk to 1,000 people. And I remember that really annoying me because I read this thing, I did the test, it analyzed me. Those days, it wasn't a computer that would tell you the results. No, you had to adapt the numbers and, you know, the chemistry. And then it would tell you your weaknesses and your strengths. And it would be really, really accurate. But it was as annoying as your mother telling you your fault, you know. But I found an amazing book called The Christian Field Personality, I think, by LaHaye, Beverly LaHaye.
Yes.
And
Team
this was
LaHaye.
again me. I
Yeah.
was 16 years old.
Yeah.
And that book made me realize, it's actually a cool thing to be sanguine. David in the Bible was sanguine, you know, and maybe, you know. So I think psychometric tests help with self-awareness. And it doesn't have to be anybody who wants to be coached or who's in a work situation and they're CEO, even if you're 12 years old and you're listening, if you can do these tests, they explain you. And I have started using them as a parent because my children are 3 and they are completely different human beings. So I decided, I should test these fellows. I need to figure them out because it would explain why they're relating differently with me. One of them is maybe very choleric or someone is like this, and it explains. And one beautiful thing about psychometric tests is that when you become self-aware, you figure people out better.
Yeah.
You
And
lead
we all
better.
know how much we need to know the people we lead.
For sure.
Yeah, a friend of mine called Tony Otoa says that if you don't have a successor, then you really cannot say you have succeeded. And now when I talk about that, I'm talking about growing coaches. You're talking about 60 coaches in Uganda, where we have 50, how many million? Even in a coach's life, let's say at any one time, if you're a professional coach and that's all you are doing for your life, what's like the maximum of people you can be coaching at a time? And what I'm trying to say is in Uganda Law Society, when I was president, we had about 4,000 lawyers, which meant one lawyer to every 1.9 million people.
Wow.
Something like that, I think, if I do the math well. No, 19,000 people, I think. But of course, we can't meet this target. And with 60 coaches, that's probably, you know. But the beautiful thing is that most of our people, are actually, in a coaching relationship, yes, but the categories that are in the market for coaching are probably fewer because I think Uganda has one of the youngest populations on earth.
Yeah.
Almost 40% of our population is under 15.
Yeah.
So that leaves, if we are 50 million, I'm assuming, how many are we? Do you know?
We are standing at about 45 million.
Okay, we're 45 million, and I know you're the mathematician. And we wanted to say 60% of those would be about how much?
To pull out the calculator.
So, and these are being served by 60 coaches. What's the intention of the ICF in growing coaches? I love that you've come to us to tell us about coaching. We love that. We're all about creating opportunities for our listeners, for the people that are within our space, for Africans that are listening. So, one, what is ICF doing to grow coaches? What's your presence on the African continent? How old is the International Federation itself? Yeah. Those are 3 questions. I hope you can remember them.
Okay.
Yeah.
And again, we're going to share with Rose Mercy.
Absolutely.
Because we're discussing strategy.
Yeah, we're really describing. Yeah.
Oh, so I'm entering your strategic
No,
plan.
no.
You're going to chat
No,
actually.
you can make a good coach, by the way. Because all the
Thank
questions
you.
you're asking.
I've actually been one of your coaches that are not certified. I've done a lot of coaching. when
No,
I
I've
was
always
certified.
pulled your leg about it.
Yes,
Yes. Yeah. So to begin with, coaching, the International Coaching Federation
Yeah,
started in 1995.
1995.
Yeah. So the global one,
Yeah.
which is headquartered in Kentucky in the United States, 1995, 28 years old. Then the International Coaching Federation, the Uganda Charter chapter,
Yeah,
since,
5 years.
since 2018.
Yes.
And by the way, we are glad to tell you that on record, we've been one of the fastest registered charter chapters.
Okay.
Yeah.
That fastest growing, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because certain countries
Congratulations.
took time
Yeah.
to gain the charter.
We are with movers and shakers.
The charter status. Yeah, so we are very, very grateful because we are told that as you see us here, we've stood on shoulders of people who have supported
Shoulders
us.
of giants.
Yeah, so there are people who have journeyed that, and I'm glad to see that on the line.
How
We
many
have
countries in
Joan
Africa
Mugenzi.
would you know that have chapters?
Right now in Uganda, the ones that are very active, we have next door, Kenya.
No, oh yeah,
Yes,
Kenya.
Kenya. There is ICF in Kenya. There is Nigeria.
Yes.
And there is South Africa. Why I'm talking about those 4, well, that's how we work together most of the times.
Those are your closest competition.
Yes, but also you have those that are Anglophone, Francophone.
Yes.
Yeah. But those 4, that's how we work closely together. South Africa,
Anglophone
Kenya,
world.
and Nigeria.
Okay.
However, we are helping because those
You're
that
helping
are,
other countries.
those that are established, Rwanda, Burundi, Congo rely on Uganda.
Okay.
Yes.
Kenya is established.
Kenya is established, but we know that Tanzania, because when I was training, I trained with some Tanzanians.
So
as well.
Tanzania is trying to come up.
Yes, because I have colleagues. We have colleagues in Tanzania. It's
Yeah.
just that they've not come up with the charter status that we
Okay.
have.
Yeah.
Because for you to have the charter status,
Yeah.
you should have 30
Coaches.
coaches who are registered with the International Coaching Federation.
I understand.
That is just for you to be
So
recognized.
you know
Yeah.
we have people all the way from the US that
Yeah.
usually listen to us. We have people, of course, the US has, but we have people from Eswatini, all the way down south. We have some people from Sudan, northern Sudan, and it's important for them to know if they wanted to grow this in a country what they could do. So it's great to know that even the coaching federation here is mentoring some other coaching federations.
Now, and even our federation is open.
Yes.
Yeah, because for instance, we have colleagues
Yeah.
who are in Kenya. They are registered with the ICF Kenya, but they
Yeah.
also want to be part of ICF Uganda.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Then you have those who are in the UK, but they're still. So all we are saying, you could be in another country, but you're still a member of ICF Uganda.
Okay.
Yeah.
I
And then we are keen to grow other countries as well. Yeah, we are very, very keen to.
So are you keen, because I think also because of their exposure, we probably have diasporians who have a lot to contribute that you could reach out to. So thank you very much. Do you have anyway, you'll tell us more if you have outreach.
I would want our director of education to chime in because
Yeah.
this is her docket. Yeah, and I'm
Well,
sure she has a lot.
I
Yeah.
was just going to say that in October we're actually coming together as Pan-African coaches, where we're having coaches from all over Africa, from Nigeria, from North Africa, Tunisia, all of us coming together as coaches in Africa,
Yeah.
because we want the field to grow and be present in Africa
Okay.
as credentialed coaches. Yeah.
So you're creating a critical mass of coaches.
Yeah.
And just building on what, because I just turned my pages there, the
Yes.
theme for that conference is going to run from 25th to 27th of October
Yes.
this year. Pride in Mombasa.
Yeah.
And the theme is telling our African coaching story.
Oh, wow.
Telling our
So,
African coaching story.
At this conference, it will be for only coaches?
Yes.
Non-coaches are actually also the welcome, but it will
The
be
beauty is
majorly
that Mercy is on the committee, so she
yeah,
knows all the
about
details.
that committee, yeah.
Yeah.
But it's majorly. But if you're not a coach, you're a business. You're actually welcome to know more about coaching and to know how it can support you in your business, in your organization.
So on our Twitter space right now, we're going to put the link to the website of the International Coaching Federation Chapter Uganda. And we are going to encourage you to look at the event. And one of the things that I wanted to let you know is people here are really showing interest in some of the things you said. So for Mercy, Rose Mercy, everybody believes that you want to be a nun. Okay, when I say everybody, I mean 67%.
Oh.
Nobody believes that you love snakes. Apparently, you're too sweet, I'm assuming. And only 33% believe that you could work in a war zone or that you want to. And now for our president, Stephen, everybody has voted for you liking extreme sports. Apparently, spoke with a lot of passion about it. They also believe that your love for family and volunteering is equivalent at 20% each. So people, please continue letting us know. Does Stephen love family, extreme sports, or volunteering? Or does Mercy want to be a nun, work in a war zone, or bond with snakes? Oh yeah, now that you're saying like that, the votes might go up. So please let's continue figuring our speakers out as we continue with our conversation. At this point, I just wanted to ask if any of you would like to chime in. It would be really lovely if we could listen to our first board chair, president, our first president of ICF Uganda chapter, the one who chatted us, who led us to chattering. Chatter President John, are you able to, just click on the mic and say hello to us? Please, it would be really beautiful. If we would have had you here.
Yeah. She's our first MCC in Uganda.
What is an MCC mean?
She's a master certified coach.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
She's big.
Yeah.
John, we need you to bless us. So please, if you're there, if you're listening, you can click and become a listener and get us. She has requested, so please make her a speaker right now. Let me see her request. Yes, I have added you as a speaker, John. Please proceed and speak. Yes, John.
Thank you, Smart TV. Thank you, our president, TV. Thank you, Rose Mercy, for being that woman. Now, let me see. It's 7:22 a.m. where I am.
Oh, wow. We're going to start taking guesses on the map.
I'm just starting my day.
Yeah.
So just now I jumped on the call when it was 6 something. So,
yeah. Oh, wow. Thank you.
It was nice listening to this. And Stephen, you are just being humble when you're saying that we are among those the few chapters that broke the records. For the record, we broke a record of forming a chapter within 2 months. That has never happened over ICF.
Yeah.
So it is really exciting. And of course, then we became a chapter within 2 years. that was also another record that was broken because chapters can take up to 3-5 years before they form, because there are so many other things that happen. So I guess to the discussion, the conversation, that realization and passion that the early adopting coaches have is contributing a lot to where we are at. I remember as founding president, our major focus was to create visibility for coaching. And now I'm happy to say that every time we are seeing people that are coming on board, wanting to pursue coaching as a profession. So for me, that is exciting. And the appreciation that is happening for coaching, the history that we have in Uganda, many of the organizations that would even have budgets for coaching would bring in coaches from the UK, from South Africa if they were close, check them into the Sheraton, Serena, then they come to offer the service, but then that is what is happening. The closest that they would get coaches from would be Nairobi, because Nairobi is kind of, the Kenya chapter is relatively mature in terms of where we are at. But we have coaches that are spread across different countries, and that is the scenario that you will find somebody who believes, okay, I can do coaching. They do their training, and they're happy to build their business. I have nothing wrong with that, because I have colleagues in Zambia, in Malawi, in Ghana who are coaches, but they've not yet embarked on the journeys to create chapters. And in terms of ratios, globally, it is 1 coach to 8,000 clients.
Oh,
so
wow.
you can imagine what that means when it comes to Uganda.
Yes.
It's
much more.
In countries like the US, in countries like the US, it's a mature environment, and so that means it's even more competitive. So what happens then is that it is an opportunity for those who want to jump on board. I normally tell people that the pie is too big. So if people woke up tomorrow, whoever can afford coaching service, and if they got up and they said, hey, I have my money, I want a coach, then we wouldn't even be able to serve them, because we are very few. We are very few, and therefore it means
so there's room to prosper.
Manpower, if you so wish. And one of the questions that you brought up to say, hey, can I just be a coach to anyone? There is what we call a fit for purpose. And the fit for purpose will definitely be determined by whoever is looking for the coaching services. I know for a fact that some people would want you to have that journey, that they feel comfortable with you, to be able to say, oh yeah, I know I'm a leader, I want some.
John, are you there? Oh, you've muted yourself, John, please. Yes. Good.
Sorry, what did you hear last?
Just continue.
I'm a leader.
But I'm a leader.
Yeah, so somebody might think, okay, I'm a leader, and therefore I want someone who has a history in leading. I mean, if I'm an M, think probably I want somebody who has been in that space.
Exactly.
But it is just the way you would have doctors. One decides I'm a pediatrician, another one decides I'm a cardiologist, and it means they have the basics of medicine, but then they deep dive into a certain niche. And so now what you see is increasingly we have people who are taking interest in specific areas. I personally love to talk about to do employment transition, because I believe at any one point people are transitioning into different things. And there are people who are whose niche now is Generation Alpha. Okay. And so because
we started the air again. Wow.
Yeah, and so if a younger coach is showing up, they might feel more comfortable with them, other than looking at you and thinking, when you're becoming grandma, what you're going to tell me things, because remember we have perception. Whereas Rose Mercy, you mentioned that we look at people as being resourceful, as being creative. Somebody, until they have experienced coaching, the perception is that you're going to tell them what to do, and it doesn't matter how much you explain, because I tend to see my clients becoming more comfortable by the third conversation because they are laughing and saying, I know, in fact, when I was coming for this conversation, I knew my coach is going to ask me, so what do you want to talk about today? Because it is not my agenda. Look at coaching as a meeting between the coach and the coachee, but the coachee determines the agenda.
Yes.
As a coach, we believe that I'm only an expert in the process because remember, ICF defines coaching as a partnership. It's a partnership between the coach and whoever they are coaching. And so we believe that the coachee is in charge of their story. They're in charge of their circumstances. And for us as coaches, we are equipped. That's why training becomes very key. We are equipped to help isolate you from your drama. Because you think about it, you're on a stage.
I love that.
So you know you're very dramatic in terms of how you're telling it, but I'm able to see and say, that part seems interesting, and that's too much noise, and therefore I isolate you, and that's why people now get shocked to the things that they have said, and they don't even remember that they've just said them a minute or a few seconds ago.
Yeah.
So it becomes something that is key. So just to add to what our president was saying is to say, yeah, we are open, we are receiving more and more people getting becoming trained as coaches, and we would love that. But we also have an opportunity to create all these different niches. Because I will tell you that in some of these markets that are developed, we have coaches for divorcees, for example. That somebody identify themselves and say, okay, for me, I want to support people who are in a divorce journey. And another one comes in and says, I'm a parenting coach. I know that in most cases what we tend to see is executive coaching because it's really what the market where the money has been. So it's easier to label yourself as an executive coach, but there are so many niches that one could have. You can become a coach of emerging leaders. So emerging leaders would mean that you have all these other younger people that are popping up. Somebody can decide to be that they are coaches for the millennials. I know that millennials are heavily driven by purpose. So somebody can decide to call themselves a purpose-driven coach or whatever it is. So yeah, that's just to kind of add to the conversation and to say, for as long as you have a love for people, you're due to offer coaching services. And there is no end to growth. One of the things that I keep on laughing about is that, when you've just started on the coaching journey, it feels like you're ready to conquer the world. When you go higher in the journey, like one of the things that I found most humbling when I became a master certified coach is that realization. You begin to actually appreciate that you know nothing. So that's the weird bit, that when you become a master certified coach, then you realize that your journey for coaching has just begun. You realize that you know nothing, and for us, we carry that vulnerability into a conversation. And there are no hard feelings. If you have a fit for purpose call and somebody feels you're not the coach for them, it's okay for them to move to the next coach, because they said chemistry is very, very important. It doesn't mean that whoever I do a fit for purpose call will end up being my coachee. In some cases, I have those conversations and then I'll refer those people to someone else who I think their chemistry might align better. And so that becomes something exciting. Recently, I came across a very young person who was enrolled to be trained as a coach. And for me, that is exciting. They're doing their first degree, but guess what? They've also enrolled to train as a coach. So yeah, the field is broad. Come and bring your legalese into the coaching space. Then you can become a coach for lawyers, and probably
ladies and gentlemen, this is my opening now.
What we go through as lawyers. Thank you.
Thank you so much, John. That was John, the charter president of the amazing Ugandan chapter that has broken the record in chartering 2 months, within 2 months, right? We're very proud of you. We're very proud of what you're doing. Thank you, John, for what you're doing, your passion. And you're an MCC. I'm told that is very, very important. And that's very, very big on the continent. We're very proud of you. And I love that coaching and the ICF is based on ethical principles, because at the Fidelis Leadership Institute, we believe that ethics are very crucial to the quality and productivity of leadership of any kind. On our poll, looking back to our poll, ladies and gentlemen, remember that we are in, I can't see my poll, but I'll continue and look at the poll. But on our poll, so far people still think you cannot love snakes, Mercy, and people are still convinced Stephen loves extreme sports. So one of the things that I also wanted to do is recognize our friends on Twitter Spaces. We have Nicholas Rukundo, who's a famous beekeeper, and I hope you start coaching people in that space. Yeah. We also have Marty Wayne Curry. I see Marty Wayne Curry. You're welcome. I don't know which state or country you're joining us from. I hope you can let us know. I also want to recognize Diana Nisima, who is a founder of Business Networking International, I think the Ugandan chapter, and she's also one of the directors for Girls in Uganda, which is a mentorship program. And so she's been mentoring business people and young ladies. And online, we also have Charity Diarugaba, who is a founder, Pillars in the Palace. This is a women's leadership organization and mentorship organization. So we have a lot of people here that are already leading and coaching in their spaces without certification that you might want to certify. I also want to recognize our director marketing UBL and
yes, a good friend of mine,
yes,
Emi Hashakimana, is on the call.
Emi, I hope if you want to say something to us.
He is also keen on coaching.
Oh, he's also very keen on coaching.
He's very big on personal growth as well.
Wonderful.
Yeah, and a leader who has made it. I mean, he's keen on growing leaders.
Yes.
Yeah. But also, I will just squeeze this in. He's also one of the faces behind the Boys to Men concert.
Oh, Amy Hashaka, this is Fiona Wall asking for a ticket. Because when Boys to Men was singing and were really, really young, they made us believe, they coached us in the art of understanding what a gentleman should look like. They should have a suit, a rose in their teeth, and they should sell the fine things. But I think they also our first teachers of poetry, Boys to Men. So really want to appreciate. Unfortunately, got a technical issue on the Twitter space. But our FLI admins will put those notes online to appreciate the people that we've recognized. That is Charity Diarugaba and Emi Hashaka, Marty Wayne Curry, and Nicholas Rukundo, who's a beekeeper. So, ladies and gentlemen, our time is fast spent. We are almost at the end of the road here, if I may quote Boys to Men. Amy, I'm still sending hints. Rose Mercy, if there's one thing...
You can see my wife online.
Oh, wow. We need to send shouts out.
Talking about family.
Yes, talking about family. As we still do our poll, I'm going to let Stephen send out some shouts since he's on international TV. Please introduce us to the one and only.
To my wife.
Yes.
I can see she has been on and off.
Yeah,
because I know that she's in the middle of many things.
Yes.
Yeah, but
that's fantastic.
I send my regards to my wife, Priscilla.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you.
Priscilla, you're welcome. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being a supportive spouse. There are people who don't know what their spouses do, and yet their spouses maybe even are news anchors, but they've never watched the news. So thank you so much for that. We recognize you. And I hope you continue following us, not only when Stephen is here. Rose Mercy.
Yes.
If you were to leave, they say that do not let us ever forget. We always tell young people that, as Stephen said, be present and do not let us ever forget that you are here.
Yeah.
So what is the one thing you do not want us to forget about you being here? What should we not forget if we forget anything else?
Everybody needs a coach.
Everybody needs a coach.
Especially in the business space, in organizations. Middle managers need coaching skills.
Yes.
Executives need coaching skills. the people at the lowest level need coaching skills. And why do I say that? Is that
Need to be coached.
they need to be coached, right? Especially middle managers, they need the coaching skills. Why do I say that? Because I'm very interested in young people, in pulling the potential out of young people. We are all capable of a lot. So if you have a leader in front of you who can open up your space
Yes.
to look at what you can do to bring out your potential.
Yes.
You know, I think that would do the greatest service to the generation. We have over half of our generation is 15 and below, right?
Right.
Men will produce an army of leaders
Yeah.
if the people in front of them had coaching skills. I think that's what I want everyone to remember.
Don't forget that, ladies and gentlemen, everybody needs a coach. Everybody. Starting with Federa and I don't know where else.
Everybody.
Stephen, what are you leaving on this floor? You know, the mic drop. What is that one thing you do not want us to forget that came from none other than the president of the International Coaching Federation Uganda chapter?
Well, the detail that I do not know it all.
Yeah.
You do not know it all.
Yeah.
There is always something new for all of us to learn. We are told that learning never ends.
Learning never ends.
And in so doing, even in us getting better, there is always something better
Yeah.
about you
Yeah.
that you've not yet discovered,
Yeah.
and you need to discover it. Then, in addition to that, I am because you are Ubuntu.
Ubuntu.
Yeah, I am
Yeah.
because you are. We
Yeah.
coexist.
Coexist.
We live with other people, and in living with other people, we
affect them, they affect
you are born in a family, so you
Yeah.
have siblings.
Yeah.
You met a spouse.
Yeah.
You started living together. There is always that one thing about you, or many things about you that need to be improved on. And as long as we are aware that there is something about us that needs to change,
Yeah.
the more reason we need coaching.
So we need to be hungry for change.
Yes, we
Continuous.
need to be humble enough to recognize
That we need change.
that we are not yet there. No one is there. No one is there, and as
We've
long
not
as
arrived.
and
Even president.
that's why I told you that I draw. That's why I tell you that I draw my purpose to God.
Yeah.
Because I need Him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know my destiny is heaven,
Yeah.
and if I'm to make it to heaven,
You need him
daily.
daily.
There is. I need to always do something to make sure that I'm fit for heaven.
Fit
So
for purpose.
yeah, so that's why I like the fit for purpose. So as long as we have rough edges about us,
Yes.
because we live with others, maybe even those rough edges are rubbing off them,
Yeah.
we need to be better. And coaching is telling us
Yeah.
that we need to learn to be vulnerable,
Yeah.
to be better.
Wow.
No one knows it all.
Lesson. Hashaka Emi, just as we had our little snafu with the internet, Stephen was telling us that you're a passionate coach, you're a passionate leader, and he added something else.
In fact, he's keen. He's one of the leaders out
Yes.
there that are keen on becoming coaches.
That are keen on becoming coaches.
Yes.
Oh, Hashaka, I think you and I are going to be in the same class.
And we are recently having that discussion.
That
with them.
discussion, yes. And Amy, I'm told that you have the hookup to Boys to Men, the plug. So you're my new best friend, and I hope that we shall have you and more of your UBL family listening in again on the Fat Talks, not just when President Stephen is here. Thank you so much for joining us. I also want to recognize Martin R. I don't know who that is. And Emmy is laughing. Would you like to say something, Emmy? I want to give us greetings from UBL, or we give you a free kalango for Boys to Men. I was saying that Boys to Men were one of those people that first taught me poetry after David and the Psalms. So if you want to say something, please just click and we'll give you a minute to speak to us. He is the director marketing UBL, and we all know marketers are always ready. We also were recognizing other people who are not yet online again, but we want to thank everybody who's been online with us. We have had Rose Murphy, the Director of Education for the International Coaching Federation, Uganda chapter, and the President, Mr. Stephen Mukasa of ICF Uganda chapter, I want to recognize John, the chapter, the founding president of the chapter. I want to recognize Carol Tusingwere, who Augusta, who helped us organize this. I also want to recognize our sponsors, Smart 24 TV, whose tagline is driving business across the continent. The Fidelis Leadership Institute is represented by me, Fiona Wall, who's been your hostess. I didn't even introduce myself at the beginning, but I am very, very excited about this coaching journey that's starting for Ugandans. And I say it's starting because, you know, as the Budonian slang says, not slang, but catchword says, Gachari Mabaga. We still have a long way to go. We're just starting. And it's been fantastic.
And in so doing, since we still have a long way to go, we need to launch in the deep.
Yes,
well.
we need to launch in the deep. Deep things.
Bring that out. I'm just squeezing in another
I think we're going to put together.
just squeezing in another school there.
Yes.
This school.
Launching into the deep.
Yeah.
So in conclusion, you've given us what you don't want us to forget, but how would you wrap up today? We've been recognizing Coaching Week. And now I'm beginning. I like having the beginning and the end. I don't know how much of the coaching story you know globally, or how the ICF started, or how the founders were thinking. If you have a linkage to that, do you mind any of you sharing what probably led to this? Why the Coaching Week? What does it signify? Yes. As we conclude.
Yeah, very, very, very important question. First of all, the Coaching Week is a celebration of knowledge by coaches to appreciate themselves and even to have testimonials put out there. There are a number of organizations in Uganda that have adopted a coaching culture.
Yes.
These days we talk about leaders as coaches. Leadership, coaching has become a leadership style.
Yes.
You can
It is a leadership style.
Yes, it is a leadership style.
Yeah.
And we are getting leaders to lead as coaches.
Yeah.
You know, whereby you ask thought-provoking questions from your direct reports.
Yes.
Yeah. And then also that aspect of allowing failure to happen. Let me not be controversial about it. We are told that unless you allow people to learn how to fail,
there will be no winning.
Yeah, there will be no winning. So that culture of being punitive also, coaching allows that aspect of saying, we're not yet there, but we can get there.
Yes.
Yeah. So instead of putting someone onto a course of action whereby you are telling them, no, you can't move forward because you're not yet there.
Yeah.
Can I work on making you get there? Yeah. So the International Coaching Week is celebrated in the month of May.
Yes.
Annually. And the essence is it's not only cut out for coaches. We use the International Coaching Week actually to endear coaching to many other people.
Do you give freebies?
we,
Pro bono.
Yeah.
Okay, we need to know about this. Check our website.
there are pro bono sessions going on.
Yeah.
And even for coaches, before you qualify, you're encouraged, by the way,
to have pro bono
the
points.
founders of the International Coaching Federation are philanthropic.
Yes.
And I liked what Joan said. If you're keen on people, if you're big on people, you will enjoy coaching.
Yes.
And that's why I kept on saying, I am because you are. I'm keen on the best in you.
Yeah.
And coaching was set up in such a way that it's a not-for-profit.
Yes.
Much as coaching is an expensive venture, we're encouraged to do a lot of pro bono coaching.
Okay.
And that takes me back to my aspect of volunteering. Yeah, because also they always try to find out how many of your coaching hours were pro bono. How much did you give back?
Yes.
Yeah. But then I want to invite.
So giving pro bono is also a good training ground, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. It's part of the hours that
It's
you
easier
have
for me to be your experiment if it's not costing me anything, right?
20% of the hours that are required for you to make for International Coaching Federation should be pro bono.
There has to
Oh,
be.
Should be pro bono.
But 75 have to be paid
Paid.
out.
Yeah.
Because it has to make sense to
It has to have value.
Yeah, it has to have value.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I was just going to add on to what you were saying around, I think, the two founding members. It's Janet and I think a lady called Amora. I think, like he said, they were just big on people, pulling the potential out of people, and creating this whole notion of I see you. Whatever you're doing, I see you. When we're in this conversation, whatever you're going through, the change that you're going through in your life, I'm seated here and I'm listening and I see you.
Wow.
Yeah.
So in celebration of the coaching week, the coaching month, the Fidelis Leadership Institute on all our platforms will be quoting coaches. So this is to request the ICF to give us some great quotes from great coaches. I would love as many Ugandan coaches as possible, so people know who's out there. We will be doing this in commemoration of the coaching week, but also to encourage people to get coached. And do let us know about the pro bono hours. Now, for those that have enjoyed this fat talk and you're interested also in growing your leadership journey more and you would like to become a coach or be coached, the International Coaching Federation has a website. The Uganda chapter has a website. You find all the details there. If you want to also participate in our we just had a recent graduation of the FAT Fellowship, that's the Faithful Available Teachable Fellowship, a 16-week program that seeks to grow leaders. Say you are a leader seated in your office, wherever. What we're trying to do is to get leaders to get people, first of all, to leap into not just being workers, but leaders in their spaces. Not just leaders, but influencers. And they need to have ethics, they need to have values that they're selling, and they also need to have a stand, and they have to have the desire to create successors because they're going somewhere. When you start investing in people, it's like you're automatically catapulting yourself to the next level. You're growing yourself. So we do this 16-week fellowship. We had the first cohort for 2020 was from Jan to May. We had a graduation recently. We're starting the other one in July 1st, and the recruitment is happening online. You find a lot of invitations to apply, the calls for application, and to assure you that it's been an exciting time, and we are also getting some scholarships from some institutions. So if you are out there and you want to invest in yourself and you think you might not be able to afford it, feel free to register and let us know. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been the Fidelis Leadership Institute with the FAT Fellowship, bring you the FAT Talk on coaching from the International Coaching Federation, the President and the Director Education, Rose Mercy and Stephen Mukasa. Thank you so much. It's been fantastic. I have learned a lot. I have been your host, Fiona Wall. Have a fantastic week and an even more beautiful weekend.
Thank you, Fiona.